but that's where we usually see this Abaddon picked up is when they want to combo it with that hero, and Undying could be pulling the IO out of the bag.
I mean, Infinity don't want to
10
take it
seconds
themselves as a
remaining.
deny. They still have their safe lane to work with, but
5
yeah, Abaddon
seconds
is usually the
remaining.
go-to guy we see with it because of the attack speed assistance, and it's not out of the realm of possibility for Undying to run the core IO as well.
And while they could run the IO Tusk, which is a very terrifying lane, but versus Timber Shadow Shaman, I don't think you would, like you said, you don't want to steal it in this situation. But it just feels like Undying are getting everything they want out of this draft. And again, they're pulling it in a completely different direction than anything they've done previously in this tournament.
Infinity are actually using all of their
Radiant
reserve
team
time.
pick. Weaver.
Weaver,
Safe pick.
yeah, it's another no info but good overall pick. And if it is going to be the IO does not like being chased by the likes of a Weaver. And I mean, you're looking at Undying right now. They actually only have one form of a reliable disable, being one of their
10
better
seconds
disables, of
remaining.
course. But you could just see it off the get go that there's not
5
much here,
seconds
and this forces
remaining.
Undying to look at their draft and say, well, there's a Weaver pick now. We need something else to kind of hold it down. And Void Spirit actually banned out from from Infinity roster the last pick there, because that was going to be my initial thought was that, well, I just picked the Void Spirit up right here, but it's gone.
If anything, I think Undying, if they really wanted to, they just pick up the Storm here. There's not much they can do about it on the side of Infinity so far, and they're doubling down on this safe lane. We saw yesterday, except slotting in the Coddle instead of the Shaman, where if the Weaver and the Dark Will are able to get an XP advantage versus that Shaman, there really isn't much that the Shaman can do once they get on top of him. The Brambles and the Bugs are just a little bit too strong, and really, that's the hero they need to play on because really can't play onto the Weaver until they get a few more levels, a little bit more of magic damage. And otherwise, that's just going to be the Leshrak's job. He's the one that needs to play versus Saberlight in that early to mid game. But now that's why we see Undying spending a lot of time seeing if they want to pick their mid or their tomato hero here. But I feel like
Radiant
they could just pick
team
the
ban.
Storm and or the Morph.
All
Okay.
right. I mean, the Morph he's actually in a much better position than we were anticipating possibly in last game. You already see a lot of the heroes that are good against Morph that are banned out, being both Ursa, Witch Doctor, and the Bloodseeker. Those are usually good heroes that run up
10
against it. And
seconds remaining.
I mean, there's no real contest. The only problem is that when
5
Morphling gets
seconds
feared,
remaining.
obviously you can't start shifting. There's no real way to get him out of it. But they do have the Purge from Abaddon,
Dire
so
team ban.
there is that to work with.
Well, the only issue, it's just very, very telegraphed, and you usually don't want to play. You could play this Morphling still mid. We know that both Brile and Tomato are so proficient on the hero, but Morph versus Leshrac is a matchup I don't think you necessarily want to play into. But banning out the
10
Enigma, they're
seconds.
calling that
Radiant
this is
team
going to be
ban.
most likely a Leshrac mid, and they're looking for another offlaner, but at the same time, Undying have all the flexibility by keeping this sort of blind Morphling pick, not going for the Storm Spirit immediately. They're leaving their options open, trying to feel out what Infinity think they want. And even though Infinity have last pick, it
10
does feel like
seconds
they've saved
remaining.
it for that last position being the offlane, and they're just going to focus
5
down a lot of these
seconds
bans.
remaining.
Probably, I mean, if I were Infinity, maybe banning out the Axe, as we saw Undying picking Axe versus Morphling, and it's just a terrifying combo that you need to be very scared of. Just and then you have the reliable stun into stun, right? You still have Tide in the pool, but with Axe, you get the call into the fear, and then Morphling, it's very difficult for him to survive that.
Dire team ban.
But Ember instead, okay.
Well, they might be reading that like maybe Ember is that reserve mid safe or mid off that they could kind of run, because like Lesh can still rotate into the off, assuming that it was a not a mid. Because I don't think you run Ember anywhere else at the
10
moment. And
seconds
Ember is
remaining.
still one of the other heroes that is good against the Morphling, and we've seen these teams
5
run some crazy
seconds
pocket
remaining.
drafts. So it's not out of the realm of possibility to pick it up, but it is definitely an interesting ban.
And while it's not the best pick versus the Timber, so we've seen the matchup kind of
Radiant
go both
team ban.
ways. I was going to just say the Beastmaster would have been great for either team in this situation, but
Dire team
instead they're going to instantly pick, and it's the Invoker.
Well, I mean, we saw how effective it was last game. They didn't win it, however, but Undying, like, they have the better setup draft, and this kind of makes up for their lack of not really more of a disable, because Invoker doesn't really disable. He just uses or here
10
tornadoes
seconds
and cold
remaining.
snaps. There's no perma-stun that comes out from Invoker, but
5
it's
seconds remaining.
where the utility is lacking from Undying that Invoker definitely fits the role.
And again, you don't want that Morphling versus the Leshrac, and
You may now select
okay, I think
Hmm.
that's the first Nature's Prophet of the tournament. Usually we see it banned out, and it's going to be PP on it as well. They're going to rotate their lanes a little bit. But that's interesting. Okay. I'm very skeptical. It's going to be a rough Nature's game. It's very difficult, I think, for him to find. You don't really have those weak targets, even though you will still have a very good Orchid timing versus the Morphling. This is a very greedy draft from Infinity. There's not a lot of farms that's really spread out among those heroes. All three of those heroes really need a lot of time and farm to make moves on the map.
Yeah, and the worst part about this is that your highest durable hero for any sort of engagement is going to be Pamplona in every single team fight. And I mean, eventually, little boy, he'll get the Bloodstone, but I mean, when and if is the scenario, because it just feels like Undying has a better run over your hero draft. And it was like you were saying, all three of these heroes need items to start kicking off. If Now doesn't get the Maelstrom at a decent time, he's done. If PB doesn't end up getting I think it's still you go for the Orchid Rush. If you don't get the Orchid early, then their game's kind of lost. And I mean, little boy, if the Yules takes too long, then it takes too long. Usually in mid, though, you kind of for sure get your first item, but it's a scary game for Infinity for that farm-wise.
Well,
Definitely.
and we've seen Pamplona stand up to the pressure. We saw yesterday with his Mirana. He was the sole lockdown on his team with his Yule Scepter on his own, but was still able to find the picks, find the Yule's combos, and really keep he basically 1v5s on his 4 Mirana. So he can definitely stand up to the pressure of just finding these pickoffs in these team fights, but it really is just him up until this Leshrac able to get anything going for himself. But again,
Prepare
it's
for
offlane Lesh that's going to be laning versus this Morph, and you do have the Lesh versus Morph, which is slightly annoying for Tomato. Tomato's actually starting with a fluffy hat. That's interesting. He's going for the Falcon Blade.
Brax? No. Just
Brax?
Brax.
Haven't seen him play in a few days.
It's funny actually because I was watching a Tomato pub before this and he was playing Gyrocopter. The first thing I saw that he had in his inventory was this exact set of items in his inventory as a safe lane gyro. Like it was the double branch fluffy circlet with
People
the tango
really
set.
like it. They want it.
I mean, we're gonna see Brax play again, right? Actually, no, this is our last day. I believe it's going to be actually MLP and John. No, hang on. No, because MLP and John, I think they're for the finals. It might be Ricky and question mark after us.
And we'll just have to see, but Infinity and Esports are on this rune, and Undying, they've got to know something's up. They're in a very precarious spot, though.
Yeah, you can see that they're on the low ground here. I don't think, looking at the ward timer here, see 59. So the Radiant one was placed after the Dire one, so they might know. Well,
Oh, and Moon?
yeah, they are wrapping though on Dubu at the same time. Moon Meander is going to be
this
in
is a
trouble here.
problem.
The first Aphotic shield went out already. Moon Meander, he's able to get the jukes, but there's no creeps available to die to this early in the game. He will go down. Pamplona is the first blood to get it, though. Not exactly the one target you want to have the most gold there off the get-go, but it's still going to allow now to get this Wraith banned very quickly.
And you can't help but feel, I mean, Undying coming in definitely as the favorite to win this series, that even with that first blood, even with some unfortunate bounty rune shenanigans, that they're still the stronger team, and they can definitely play around that fact. And I really feel like Saberlight is not going to be put on a lot of pressure. Killing Moon to start off, though, is good. He's the hero you want to suppress in this top lane, as you can't really do much versus Saberlight until you get that level 2, level 3.
74 right-click damage at level 1. It's just, it hurts so much. Like, Shaman should not have this much right-click damage. That's
When to
just
win
it.
this lane, they just need to combine. They need to focus their right clicks on Moon. If Moon plays this lane too well, then this is really going to be a wash in this top lane.
Well, I feel like even with that, though, it's still going to be kind of the, not really an even overall, but the Brambles are going to be good setup if they ever want to try to go for something aggressive. The Shaman will be the setup. But we've seen how effective Moon Meander plays this Shaman. You can see he's already doing a creep camp pull as well. They might actually find Yogi here. It's very close. You got to be careful with it, too, because one shock will do the trick. There's a lot of damage. They do see the sentry gets thrown down, though.
You see, this lane is just going to continue to spiral, especially if they can keep the wave back here. Again, they have another ward behind the tower, so they are going to see these couriers come in, and this is what they need to do. They need to play up on Moo.
Have to go for Moon here. He's putting a lot of damage into him, though. He doesn't have a shock available. Yogi does have Shadow Realm, though. And Meander will be going down to the Shadow Click. While Saberlight still trying to run him down here. But Shaman is the runner hero here. Well, I say that as now is also getting chopped up here. We saw yesterday, actually, a Timbersaw build going for the 2 in Timber Chain instead of the Q for Whirling Death. This might be the same kind of repeat.
Oh, Yogi's just going.
Oh, yep. There he goes. He died.
This is the issue, and this is what Infinity need to do, but Saberlight's going to continue to... He's the one here you can't do anything about. With the heroes you have, it's really just up to them to kill Moon Meander and get their farm and levels that way, because Saberlight is uncontested, and until they get those higher levels, it's just going to be now watching him farm. Same time, Dubu.
Down in bot lane, we are seeing a bit of action onto him, but not going to go down. Moon Meander clipping a courier in the back line, so... This is, I mean, it's a very scary game HP-wise for Undying. A lot of pick-off potential for everybody here. As Pamplona picks off the courier of their own. But it was like you were saying very early, is that, like, Tomato isn't a big fan of the fact that he is going to be up against Little Boy here. But as soon as Lesh just has no mana and Pamplona has no real mana restoration capability, they can kind of just walk over it a little bit. Especially since we're going for the Diabolic build.
Yes, and in both side lanes, that's what they need to do, is they need to play on the support so heavily. If Dubu and Moon Meander have a rough game, and we've seen in a lot of their series where they're tanking deaths for their team and letting their cores kind of do all the heavy lifting, that's what they need to do. If you're Infinity, you need to be killing Dubu. You can't go onto the Morph, he's just going to get shielded up, and you need to kind of wait. Yeah, Saberlight.
Getting really low there, trying to go for that aggressive kill out onto Yogi. Does have the salve, though, but... he's a big beefy boy. He didn't end up swapping out the soul ring there to lose that 8 strength, 6 strength. Ooh,
and again, 2 mid laners that don't really care about either rune, but I think Dubu saw him grab the invis, so he's going to hover around this mid lane a little bit.
Oh,
top.
Meanwhile, on top, though, they go for the Moon Meander here, though. Saberlight is trying to get the kill onto Yogi here. Timber Chain is there, but the Shadow Realm will pull him out. Yeah, he could actually go down here. There's only one creep, really, to give him the stacks, and now he'll have Shikuchi available very soon here, and they'll try to go for it. And they will throw out Brambles. He gets hit, though, but meanwhile, Dubu goes down again in this bot lane.
And honestly, perfectly played from Pamplona. He was stalking him with that Invis rune when we looked away for a second. The entire time, Dubu had no idea where he was, whether or not he was still sitting mid, and Dubu gave up just because he had really no earthly idea where he went, and gets punished for it. But again, Tomato, he's just able to farm. He has his Falcon Blade now. He's not too annoyed with Dubu taking the heat off of him for a bit.
I've been looking at PP just sitting at 0 HP in this mid, though. TP's back. He's got TP as well. Physical teleportation spell.
Oh, the ult he used?
The ult that I think he was hoping that Broyle was going to eat the pay dirt of the end there, but I think it only clipped him on the halfway marker.
And he took a decent amount of damage, but you see with PP, he's getting that Orchid as fast as he can. And
snap.
Yeah, the rotation mid.
Yeah, I mean, this is the teleportation he had still available. Dubu just couldn't really do anything there. In fact, Dubu might go down himself, but PP's been taking tower shots, so have to reset this for the time being. But Moon Meander's here. No Hex, though. Does have Shackles. Was in range, and there it is. They will find this kill on PP. That's a good trade, but it's still, you would rather your Invoker be getting these kills. And well, I say not Moon Meander. We saw how effective he is when he has his 2 to 3 total items in the game.
Well, and they have to be careful giving away kills like that. It wasn't the worst situation because they were doing all of that under the cart, so the mid tower did take a little bit of damage, but every minute that PP doesn't have his Orchid, that's more time that Tomato is getting basically free. And you see, with Pamplona leaving the bot lane, Little Boy is having a lot of trouble showing. Tomato just skills up his ultimate and with the level 3 attribute shift.
Bryle, EMP, Cold Snap. He does manage to get it off.
He's got no mana. He already popped his stick.
Oh, they don't know which direction he ended up going here.
Oh, they know.
No, they know which direction they ended up going here. Bryle's looking for him, though. They will be able to at least find the trade on Saberlight, I imagine, here with the tag team. Does jump up, though. He's got 18 charges with 3 wand charge on a 5-second cooldown. Shadow Realm goes out. Saberlight trying to buy time.
No.
Cold Snap is there. He does have enough for the wand. He actually quickly Soul Rings to confirm the kill on Pamplona. He's able to get out of that one scot-free.
And it's just such a fantastic rotation from Brawl. They're expecting him to TP back mid, but instead, it's just so seamless. Moon takes over the lane, Brawl gets it, landing that EMP on now. Right before popping level 6 as well, he just didn't have enough stick charges from the lane. And now gained this top tower as well. Brawl gets it. Nope, Cart will confirm it. Same time, Tomato, but there's really no pressure up on Tomato. He will have to TP somewhere else, but there's no kill threat with the heroes.
Well, I mean, you say that, though. The snowball comes in. It will latch. The only tag teams available, though. The stun goes through, and Brawl TPing in. EMP. This is going to be a full EMP as well. Tomato, he turns into the Weaver for a momentary time, but unable to carry up with any sort of follow-up here. There's no boots on Invoker, so he can't quite chase. But they do trade the off lane for safe lane pick there, and it's still very, very scary for them to kind of be hovering around here. I mean, Dubu is sitting at no HP, so he can't really support here.
And PP wants to make a play again, but Saberlight's already on your tower. He's already causing these problems for you. And it's unfortunate that Tomato goes down in that fashion. If he was able to Kikuchi over to the Abaddon, he would have just been able to get healed and shielded up, but slight misplayer, slight miscommunication, but really, it's very difficult. If Brawl keeps playing adjacent to this Weaver, yeah, it's always going to feel really bad.
Yeah, you can see him. He's cold snapped, hit with
he's
the
dead.
urn. He knows that he can't get out of it. No wand charges, no salve, no fairy fire, no nothing.
And you look at his XP, Pete. He's so close to his level 6, but he just doesn't have a lane. And you died top, TP'd bottom. It's so unfortunate.
I'm
for
pretty
now
sure that's like 6 XP. Maybe like 5. 1 creep. One Nature's Prophet Treant worth of XP. But now with this kill, you know the Weaver's not going to come back bottom. He's probably going to go top as it's the safest place. No, he's TPing back bottom. They want to defend this tower. They need to defend this tower. Infinity, they rotate in. Now is now level 6. Moon Meander.
Too far forward.
Yeah, he is going to be the main target of this transaction here. The roll in there with the follow-up stun, it will be dispelled. And he goes for the shackle, but this is just the slow, the inevitable, and they will throw out the fear. It's a good 2-man, but 3-man disarm with Saberlight TPing in. They want to go for more, and Little Boy now with this TP from Saber. A little bit hesitant to run in there, though. But there are no stacks on Saber. He's sitting at 9 at the moment. Now the creeps are here.
Be careful, but
yeah, he's got the stacks now. Shadow Realm, Snowball, Brile. He doesn't have Wraith Walk, Shadow Walk. He does have the Tornado. It lands on 3, but I mean, a shield can only last for so long, and the reset from now. Little Boy might be going down here to the Urn Tick, though. Nope, just 1 off, but Saberlight able to get the follow-up there, and looks like the chase is going to be coming out here. Pamplona giving him a taunt, while Dubu will be picked off in the bots. Meanwhile, in the mid, actually, Morphling, I think he tried to put some pressure onto Natures, but they're still... Saberlight is still chasing. All right, no, he's done. He knows.
It's very unfortunate they were able to get sight of Brile. Otherwise, they would have just have to given up that kill. But again, it's Pamplona. He's the one that needs to find these kills.
I thought I saw Yule's actually on Tomato, but I think it was actually just spinning his actual player model.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Moon? Ooh, he almost got the Hex on that Natures. TP out just in time.
And again, they're very happy with these trades because Tomato is getting speed. Unfortunately, the mid tower did get denied under him, but while this Natures doesn't have the Orchid, and I believe it's flying out to him right now, this is really going to be Infinity's timing that they can hit, but Brawl just keeps on finding these picks. He's so annoying.
Snowball to the low ground here. Pamplona is going to eat the EMP. They will find the stun initially on Dubu. Can't purge it off, so...
Saving the skill point for his ulti. He doesn't want to pop it too preemptively.
It's always a good play. You see Wraith Kings doing that a lot as well. Well, there's no transaction and kills happening there. I mean, this whole entire time, though, Saberlight's just clicking onto your tower here. He's taking the reactive armor stacks. You can see them drawing on the map. They want to start walking up towards top, but Saberlight still wants this tower, and well, with the help of the cart, they will get it. He jumps out, the Orchid. He actually doesn't hit the Orchid in time, and the wards go out, but able to walk through the ward circle there. Yogi Gonna be perfectly fine, and they'll just farm up the wards.
And that's exactly what Undying need to do with their lineup. While Saberlight and Tomato are very independent, they're able to play in these side lanes by themselves. They keep forcing these massive rotations out of Infinity Esports. They're going to continue to lose ground, and Tomato has been greatly unaffected by any of these rotations, and he's very happy to do that up until he gets this Manta done. And that's why you see Dubu playing behind him. As long as the Abaddon and the Morph are together, there's really no way for him to get bursted down. Oh, Bryle.
It does look like he's in a bit of trouble here. The tag team goes out, and the Fear to fall through the Shadow Realm as well. We do get that pick there, but Moonmeander,
Oh,
I
again.
think he's being a little bit too aggressive here. I don't think he understands how solo he basically is here. I mean, you do have Saberlight. He does come in and put in some decent damage on Little Boy, but I mean, the ult spec a little bit too late out onto Dubu there, actually. He goes down, and Tomato, it's like you're saying, you don't want him to really come in for these team fights. He's here now, but I mean, you don't want to be running up against Pamplona. He's got Punch available because he's got a wand and it only takes 50 mana.
Well, and Tomato likes to do this. He likes to rotate to these fights, especially if he can join in a fight late, but that was just the perfect pecking order. If they can always start each fight on Bryle and Moonmeander, then Infinity can win it very handedly, and it shows right there. If they're able to get on top of them, then they're going to have issues. Invoker and Shaman really hate when they're getting cramped down on and preyed upon, but again, these kills are leading to farm, and that's when Infinity Esports can start to pull this game back in their favor. But again, Tomato's he's just going to wait till this Manta style is online, and then he can really start showing up to these fights.
Well, looks like they do want to fight now, though. They are 3-man smoked.
Yeah, this is the 3-man, and they're going to run into a bunch of heroes.
They'll find Little Boy there with the cold snap, and they will also find Sexy Yogi inside there, but they will throw out the Realm. Lifting up the Moonmeander there. He does die from the NATO, but you see that the rest of the Dire Heroes, Infinity, they do want to escape. Ooh, but Saberlight comes in. No Yules or anything. Cold Snap unavailable. They already used it to open the fight. They'll have to let him go. And buying back on Shaman, it does feel bad that you do that, but it still felt like that was the play that they had to go for there. It gives them that extra utility, more or less. They still have the mid tower even to rotate off of this one, and if they want to go for the mid tower tier 2 of themselves, then they can.
Well, and you see how confident they are with their heroes. They are still they're just running at Infinity Esports, even though they have been giving up a few kills here and there, mostly just due to Pamplona finding these really difficult picks. But I think Infinity, they should just smoke up again. If they find the Shaman or their Invoker, at this point of the game, they're still just free kills. Even, they're trying for Saberlight. This is a rough kill, though.
It's going to be a very hard one to get indeed. He does have 7 stacks at the moment. The bug
Orchid's
might be actually
through.
giving him more, but does
Nice
get punched.
punch.
He's just straight dead immediately. They want to go for more. Dubu is here. No TP available. He TP'd in. You see PP coming in as well. Throwing down the ring. There's no one there on that
wants
side.
to fight.
Yeah, Tomato does finish the TP, and the Hex does come out by Moonmeander, but the Fear is there, turning into the Tusk. It's not going to find anything, and this whole duration of the Shackle just amounts to nothing, and Tomato does turn into the Snowball to make sure he doesn't get stunned. Bryle, though, is going to get picked off by the damage alone on the backlines, though, trying to find the kill. He goes invis. No reveal. There it is. Yogi will find that one, and Tomato is trying to get out of here, but he will be brought up and silenced. He's dead as well.
And again, Infinity Esports, it's the perfect pecking order. They're able to get the burst onto Saberlight. These Undying heroes aren't able to show up to these fights, and I was talking about how he wants to show up to these fights late on Tomato, but his team just wasn't able to get there in time. And again, this Tusk versus Shao Shaman matchup, Moonmeander's, it's flipping the script. He's having a terrible game.
Saberlight needs to be careful here, too. He doesn't realize he's by himself here. He does have 17 charges. Will
Good
get
timber
silenced,
chain.
though. Yeah, he'll be fine. And they want to fort the mid tower. They'll TP in as well. No, they're still going for Saber, though. He's still got a lot of stacks to work with. They get the tower, though. Not denied.
And that was the issue with the initial grab bottom, where Saberlight, again, he didn't have those stacks to work with, and with the left strike getting on top of him, Wesh is just getting a straight up, I think he's got either Greaves coming out or he's got a Hood of Defiance in the works. He's just trying to tank up because that's the strat that they're trying to run. They just want to continuously run at the aggression Undying are trying to put down, but okay, it looks like a freebie.
Well, they maybe not.
Oh,
actually.
the Shadow Realm
He gets out just in time. The Shadow Realm will actually find still the claim, as Moonmeander will get picked off by now in the back lines, and you do see them trying to go for Pamplona, and Saberlight, again, with no Yules or anything like that, they can't get the catch.
And it just feels like the Undying heroes are just slightly a little bit too disconnected this game, whereas they're not able to string together the same pickups that they were in the previous lineup. And while the shining light is that Morphling is farming, he is closing in on that Manta style, but in the meantime, it feels very weird if you're Undying. You're kind of stuck running at Infinity until a fight works out, while if Infinity get a few more picks on you, the only bad thing is Infinity need to get a lot more picks. They need to keep on continually getting these kills.
I mean, it looks like Undying will find a pick of their own. They pick off Yogi, while you do see a TP coming out to the top lane there. The silence is there on the PP. You see Moonmeander, he starts the TP himself. Tomato, just enough time to switch into strength, and I mean, this kill feels a lot harder to get, especially when the whole enemy team is here. Unable to find the latch, though, for the lasso. Moonmeander needs to leave, but Saberlight wants to keep on it at least, because you see the Abaddon, he's TPing in, but meanwhile in the mid, they find the kill on Bryle with all this time being bought here, and there goes the Hex now, the Shackle, not even needed. But, I mean, with all that time given, they trade only Lesh, and they get this Invoker in the mid. You don't want to be throwing away the heroes like this in that retrospect. Like, Invoker is such a higher gold. Well, I say that, actually. No, they did get... Oh, because it's accounting for the Dark Widow pick.
Well, in Tomato, he's playing very measured. He's sitting at a much higher HP pool. As I say that, you know, shifts down to 1,000 HP, because...
Well, you know.
These Morphling players...
Oh, God.
But it's so
Morphling
difficult.
players are so scary to watch. We've already been over this. Like, even in a Bloodseeker game, they still just do that shifting left and right. I'm always scared. It's like so you miss the kill.
Oh, they're just sitting on this high ground.
They don't know there's a ward here. Yeah, they saw the whole entire thing. But now, he's going to find Dubu here. They'll click the ward here. But they want to keep going. They go for this Tomato, and PP is going to find Moonmeander on the backlines. They can't buy back. He's stunned up, but already shifting into strength. Tomato's just going to clean this up and try to get out of here. The EMP is not going to latch. Little boy is going to be able to get out of that one. While we see now, Saberlight actually does get picked, and I was going to say the Abaddon as well, playing really low. Gets picked as well. They lose 3 heroes for this, and likely this bot tower as Maledict or Diabolic Diluc will be up in 5 seconds.
Well, and it's just, again, Infinity Esports are able to find the heroes they want to start off the fight every single time. And with the items that they've built for themselves, they've got an incredibly strong timing. They've got Sanj and Yasha done on the Weaver. I think, working on Pipe now, but Mech already done on the Lesh and a BKB on Nature's. It's really difficult for Undying to find a fight, because who are you going to kill in Infinity Esports now? It seems like they've built a little bit too beefy items. They're ready to fight you.
But this is how they had to play. Like, they need this high durability lineup so they could actually put out the damage and take it, because it's just Bryle's utility can't outmatch the damage that could come from Infinity as long as you just continue to get that. Yeah, Yogi hiding in the tree line here. He is going to be revealed. Starts the TP out. The tornado goes through, though. They will be able to find the kill.
And while Infinity Esports are playing fantastically and they're able to get these good fights string together, they're not able to roll these objectives as fast as I think they want. They want a scenario where they're going to be able to get Roche soonish, because they want to put pressure on these more important towers. They've just been able to claim the safe laners towers, and I can't outrule Undying. They're still doing so much damage.
Cold snap, hit with the strength shot. It'll start this. Well, the BKB is not going to save you from the Sunstrike damage. They will be able to find this pick
from Tomato. He attribute shifted all the way up to about 2,000 HP and got a 2.5 second stun or so.
You never expect Morphlings to shift up the strength strategically.
Yeah, and already, sort of a bait smoke play. It looks like. Oh,
yeah,
if they now
want to bait him into the scan, and that's exactly what they did. But he does manage to get to the high ground. Snowball gets through. They will be able to find this punch on the Moonmeander. Pamplona will be the first one to be traded off here, but they do find the tornado onto Little Boy, and as the fear goes out, it only latches onto one. And I mean, the Invoker is not really a target that is affected by this fear. You see Saberlight trying to go onto Yogi as well. Meanwhile, on the back lines, you do see that now. I thought he was trying to go for a hero kill, but unable to find one. They do get 3 good picks off of this one. I imagine they walk back into Roche and maybe do it this time. Well, with no wards, it might be a little bit difficult.
Yeah, with no wards, it is difficult, especially now the Nature's Prophet is up. He will be able to send those treants in if he'd like to, but they can definitely take this. They're just going to Lacrity up Tomato, and this is the experience coming out from Undying. Even with just a small pick on the Nature's Prophet, they walk in the Roche, they immediately, if they get the Weaver, it's even better. He just wasn't in range in the Shackle, and now he's trying to get vision, but it's too late. With 4 heroes hitting this Roche, he needs to do something crazy if he wants to have an effect here.
Well, you can
and this
see
is
him
really crazy.
trying to do the crazy, but he gets cold snapped immediately with a tornado, but he does have the reset. He will get out of that one for the time being, but PP jumps in. BKBs goes for it. The meatball comes through. Silence out onto the Invoker on the back lines. The little boy goes in, gets the damage. They actually find a basically 5-man team wipe, but no, Tomato is able to TP out, and Dubu not going to meet the same fate. So they get 4 off of this trade. That's a really good, like, crazy play there, whereas the Aegis still falls to the hands of Tomato. But this is the picks that they needed. They're going to go ahead and take mid tower, and you could already see that PP rotates down to the bot here. The Manta, though, Tomato is actually trying to turn this bad boy around, but there's a DD on PP here, and Tomato, with the first part of the shotgun, he'll Ghost Scepter his way out of that one.
It's a fantastic play from Infinity Esports. They're really trying to flip this script, and again, Pamplona's kind of having to suicide for these kills at this stage of the game, but keeping Moonmeander out of the game, he's their only lockdown. He's their sole unit to really do that besides Bryle, and he's just going to get preyed on again. Yeah,
they throw the ring out onto him. Silenced up, though, immediately. It looks like he's still going to be going down here to the Silence Burn, and Tomato get stunned up here. Saberlight, though, doesn't want to give him a free kill completely here. Yogi might be the only trade-off. Slow and steady.
Like he will go down.
They do end up finding him, though. They do put a lot of damage on Tomato on the way out.
And they do have Aegis. The hard thing to call is that Undying, their game has been pretty rough, but Tomato's hasn't. He still has these opportunities, and he can still become the enemy Dark Will. We still have that sort of combo if he does go for that Ags build after the Blade, but Infinity Esports are playing really well. They're, even versus the Aegis, they're just able to ignore him, get this bot tower, and it feels like now is coming into his own with the BKB, then he really is going to be able to cause hell for the backline of Undying.
Yeah, we kind of saw in the last team fight, he wasn't really able to put that much pressure out because of that consistent threat. But like you're saying, the BKB will change everything. Plus, it'll just make the shotgun literally do nothing. But Tomatoes...
Really that Roche going south was just because they couldn't get the initial pick onto now with that tornado. It's very unfortunate. Undying could have been in a much better spot.
Well, they're still not giving up quite yet. And Tomato's got the... I mean, he's got the shotgun live and ready, but this just feels like there's not that much lingering damage outside of it. You see Bryle, he's just going to keep on going for more utility-based stuff here as he's lining up for the BKB. But I mean, it's not damage. Is basically what I'm getting at
here. They're breaking on Bryle.
If they find Bryle immediately, there's no reveal though. Not going to get hit by a net and Dubu. Looking like the possible trade here, but Weaver actually is going to get hexed up here, but the Fear goes out. Will land on 2. Snowball as well. The E-Blade out from Tomato, trying to do some damage, but the BKB from PP immediately will negate that. However, will still get clicked down by Tomato in the backlines. And they are actually putting a lot of damage out onto Infinity's cores. They put a punch out. Tomato unable to find any follow-up on that one. Yogi will be falling here and now, getting low as well. Does have doesn't have a reset and turns this around instantly. Where did all this damage come from just so suddenly?
It's all just Tomato. They really didn't respect the Morphling there. They dove in way too far to try and do exactly what they've been doing the whole game, trying to punch these supports, but the jump wasn't there. Pamplona wasn't able to really find a great initiation. Same, you were able to get the Terrorize off, but I think it was only on one hero, and the other hero was the Abaddon, so you're just able to shield up everyone else, and this Morphling is scary. You have to respect him, and now giving up ground, that's a big team fight that Infinity just lost.
Yeah, I'm looking at the fight recap here as well. It's a basically 4K-ish net worth lead here. The 4K gold change, it's just 3K gold in the favor of Undying. They lost 0 heroes with that. And yeah, I mean, I wanted to see where all this damage came from. 4,000 damage out from Morphling.
Yeah, it was just him hitting up. You even saw PP with his build. He's going for the AC now, but he just can't survive versus that physical damage. And Tomato, not getting greedy, he just becomes the Tusk every single time, gets the tag team, and just starts beating into the enemy team. And again, you kited out the BKB, now popped his BKB so early, and Moon's alive. And if that situation occurs, you have to be so careful if you're the Weaver, and he overextended just a little bit too far. And now Infinity Esports need to be really careful. If they lose one more fight, it's going to be a complete role reversal.
Well, you do see that Infinity there, at least going to quell the creeps in the mid lane here to prevent any sort of mid lane push.
Oh, they see Yogi.
Saberlight rolls in, though, as well. Moon Meander does have a jump available immediately. Tomato comes in there and drops the shotgun before any Dark Realm business ever happens here. Aegis has expired, however. But the Scotty is pretty much up for this Morphling.
Well,
Assuming this is a Scotty here.
Before that fight, I mean, Bry was still working on his BKB. There wasn't a Bloodstone on Saberlight. Now he has Boots of Travel on top of it. It feels like that lead that Infinity Esports gained is all but lost. And now you see they're splitting the waves. They're trying to split push now because they don't want to fight into this Morphling. They're terrified to team fight again.
Ryle does have enough for the cold snap combo. He might just click him down. I mean, little boy. Oh, the TP from PP, though. EMP goes out. This will burn the mana. Ryle BKBs immediately, though. But, I mean, PP has a lot of physical damage. Throws the disarm wave to him directly. Sunstrike goes through. No Yules on Saberlight still. So they're not going to end up getting that one. It will go for the Flamethrower next.
And I do wish Saberlight... There have been, I think, 6 or 7 instances where he doesn't have that secondary lockdown in Moon Meander, where Moon's just been sort of dead and Saberlight's not able to get the kill because he doesn't have that Yule Scepter. But again, because he greed out for this Bloodstone, the greed on Undying is starting to pay off. They're starting to get momentum under their feet again. And Tomato, he's just going to hit this top tower, and I don't know what your response is.
Yeah, the words are there. They will drop the fort. That's the best answer that they've got, however. Well, it does insta-kill all the creeps with the help of the Nature's ult that comes through as well. But, I mean, they get the tower. It's dead. Saber is sitting at half HP, though, and the Fear does get baited out, or pumped there, at least a little bit there. PP taking quite a bit of damage, though. Saberlight not afraid to dive him. He's running at him with the Flamethrower here. It does a lot of damage.
Gideon now, he needs to find the Shaman. He needs to get on that back line.
I mean, you could see Moon Meander's playing so carefully, though. He doesn't have his blink quite yet, but you could see he's just holding back there for as long as possible. They find the BKB off of now. While
they need a
Saberlight,
kite back.
yeah, he's actually going to get feared up and stunned, so it looks like he will be the initial trade, and now you do see Moon Meander is going to be ran at here. They will find the kill and the buyback immediately from both of Infinity's supports as they want to go for this jump on the Bryo here. They reveal him with the dust, and they'll find
Tomato.
this kill. Tomato needs to get out of here, though. He's weaving his way as more okay, yeah, he's good to go. Or is he? Nah, he's good. They find the escape there. They still lose 4.
And again, Infinity did exactly what they needed to do. Again, Pamplona, it's a sad job, but he has to go in and die for the Shaman every single time. And even though now doesn't have BKB, that's the scary hero. As soon as that happens, he doesn't need to worry about the Invoker really just yet. If he dodges the Tornado out, he doesn't need to worry. There's no Orchid on that Invoker, so he's not scared of getting silenced. And again, Tomato survives. That's the silver lining for Undying. He still is a terrifying thing that Infinity have to deal with. And they have to be so careful with how they engage. Now that you don't have that buyback on Pamplona, he's still their sole lockdown, where they need to be so careful if they're not able to get a fight on the right foot as soon as it breaks out.
Well, the Roche is up, though. I think this would be a pretty... that would have been a decent time, I'd say, to go for the Roche, but I think everybody will know that it's up and ready to go. They drop a scan, so they know that they're in the triangle. There's no wards on the side of the Radiant that gives them that vision, so the scan does depict exactly where they are.
I think now or PP should check it out. They actually haven't... They might not know it's up just yet. They haven't peeked into the or they will now.
Yeah, there's the courier now. So they do know that it's up. They're XPing it. They might be wanting to walk in there, but... Sunstrike goes through. They know it's up as well. I think Undying, they want to fight the pit.
Yes, if they can kite them over to the pit. At the same time, Infinity Esports are also okay with that transaction, but I don't think they realize how fast this is going down.
Yeah, this is this man's got no armor and the alacrity as well with the Curse of Avernus. Like, it's at 30% remaining. They shotgun the creep.
You need to look at Pamplona.
Now comes in, but Tomato, he's actually brought up, and he's stunned in every way, shape, and form. He's going to be brought up here. He's feared. He can't switch to strength. They steal the Aegis just in time, as well as the kill. They're going to keep going on this one. They find Moon Meander on the sidelines here. This is actually huge for Infinity. This is a huge team fight for them. They find the kill on Bryle. Neither of these heroes have buyback, so you've already seen them go out. Dubu losing a lot of HP on the sidelines here, just getting kited up by Trees, and Saberlight jumping into Trees himself. He has to end up throwing out the Bloodstone charge to end up living, but he just can't quite get it. Tomato, though, he's hanging around. He will at least get the shotgun on his way out.
And again, Tomato's the only one to survive. He is beyond godlike, but that fear, it was so breakneck. If he meant to dodge the fear, then Tomato's the best player in NA. But just barely misses the timing on that, and then just barely surviving on a sliver of HP as well. He got so greedy, and at the same time, PP, he did his job completely perfectly. He went in on the Shaman. Moonmeander wasn't able to find anything. And at the same time, Doob was just getting crunched. He has to be close to his cores, but all of his cores are dying to the bugs, to the Leshrac, and again, it's just this Morphling. Undying are still trying to leverage Tomato to the best of their abilities, but Infinity Esports, again, they're fighting back so well.
They're playing to what advantages they still have, and you can see they ping out Tomato. It's morphed into the Nature's Prophet, though. You see the TP out from Dark Willow. Does he have a Yules? He does, but doesn't see him.
Yeah, becoming this Nature's Prophet is so obnoxious.
I mean, it is one of the 2 best heroes for him to become. Like 3, because we already talked about how effective that tag team was. But turning into the Nature's Prophet, turning into Weaver, both have extremely strong mobility spells. Shaman works. He does end up finding this Dark Willow, but, I mean, Moonmeander is going down in a heartbeat. 1-for-1 trade for the supports, though. PP is getting clicked on quite heavily here by Tomato and the illusions, but the cheese will be consumed, and Tomato will at least throw the shotgun out onto PP. They'll find this kill, and he needs to leave, now trying his best to at least tear into him, but he knows that this Morphling is a very heavy armored hero.
Well, and again, this is the issue. While they haven't been able to kill Morphling in all of the previous fights, you can't start a fight on him either. He's just going to get that attribute shift off. And you even saw when he was still morphing towards that strength, the shotgun still does so much damage. And PP, now with this 5-second BKB, he had a 5-second BKB in that last fight, but getting kited out, and they dove a little bit too far. And it feels like both sides, whenever they try to make an active play, are sort of getting punished for it.
I mean, it's just another scenario that this is still anyone's game. It felt like we saw it right before that fight. They ended up getting it. They had a 10K net worth lead. Actually, I could look at it on the chart here. You could see that actually there was only one real period of time that it was in Undying's favor. But it's just these team fights that are like, they have one run of it and it's working out really well for them, and then they come back around and there's all this damage that they unaccount for. It was like you're talking about, like Tomato switching all the way into like at least like 50% into strength, and that shotgun still does superior amounts of damage. And here they are again. They're gonna start working on these racks.
Getting glyphs a win in itself. They could just back off of that.
It looks like that's what they're going to do.
But they can't start the fight on Tomato. Again, they need to get into that backline, and I guess almost a fantastic bait from Moon there. He just popped everything on Yogi, and they're like, what is this guy doing? We're so strong, right? And PP TP's in and just gets completely focused down. That was the Nullifier reveal as well, and I mean, it's not the same Nullifier it used to be. He just pops his Manta, and he just hits you. And PP still has that problem. He's got a lot more armor now, but this Morphling is very powerful.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I just double checked Morphling to see what his armor was. That's 50 armor.
50 armor.
That's yeah, that's pretty hard to rip into.
50 armor, 5,000 HP.
They expend drums to run after Dubu here, but Dubu's got a lot of move speed to work with here. The shot goes out, but no gun. The Sunstrike will follow though, and the Timbersaw will throw out the Chakram. Pamplona does look like he's dying here. The wards will be the one to confirm it, I believe. NATO gets thrown out, but not going to land on anybody. But Saberlight's not done. Maybe. They were looking for now there. They're still looking.
Oh,
little boy. The slow and the Hex on the little boy. The Blink Dagger reveal, but it does so much damage onto Moonmeander. The shotgun goes out defensively. They will be able to find that escape. However, Dubu will still fall, and the silence is gone out, as well as the Nullifier. He's actually just getting bursted down here, and Tomato will go down. He does have buyback, though. But that is the best option they have.
And it was almost a sacrificial play. I don't think that he realized that he needed to save his Ghost Scepter, or rather his Ethblade, for himself. After the Nullifier, he just got bursted. He saved Moon's life for sure, but losing one of his own, they will tick out on the Aegis, but Infinity Esports don't feel comfortable enough to go up high ground without their BKBs. That's something they still have to be very cautious of versus this Invoker.
And I imagine we're going to wait to see also with the Daedalus being picked up. That might be Weaver's next decision of attempting to get in there. I mean, they'll have it by the time with all the BKBs.
And again, you just see how strong Now is and how affirmed he is in his job, where he just immediately, he sees Shaman, he knows what to do, goes onto the Shaman, and even Dubu, he tries to shield, they try to save him, but again, I don't think Tomato realized what he was getting himself into there with how much gas they still had left in the tank on Infinity.
Well, Tomato will be able to reset on this. Luckily, he didn't have to buy back. But I guess it must just be a wait on the Roshan. I mean, we have the Aegis and Cheese. Next could be the Shard or Ags. And I mean, looking at it here, I imagine it's the Ags that people would want to see. The Weaver Ags is still really good. It's been a couple scenarios. I have yet to see Nihilism actually be used. Nature's Prophets.
Probably don't want it this game. Probably don't want it this game.
I don't know. The NP route might actually be a good one. Tusk Kick, and then there's the Shadow Realm Continual Attack. I feel like the best one is still the Nature's Root.
Well, and we might just see him go for a Hex up. He hasn't queued anything past his buyback plus Bloodthorn, but again, that's also just what they need. They just need more damage to kill this Morphin. He can die, but at the same time, Tomato now with his Ags, if he ever sees this Will, that's going to be the target. That's the one that he wants. It is slightly nerfed, but again, he can also become the Weaver. Now he can save his target. Maybe that's the tool they need to save the Shadow Shaman in a lot of these team fights, but still, the game is on a teeter's edge. If anybody loses any heroes in any capacity, it's going to swap sides as we keep on seeing it happen.
Yeah, it won't even matter who actually has buyback or not. Because, I mean, even forcing a buyback is huge, and it looks like the first jump is going to be by Moon Meander here. The Fear gets thrown out, which will break the shackle. And now you just see Now going straight for Moon. He does have a Ghost Scepter of his own this time. It's just TP's out immediately. Nullfire unable to find it, but Tomato, he turned into him. He's got the Dark Willow, and he just bursted down PP in literal seconds.
And that's that 5-second PKB, and the Ag showing. I mean, that's just how strong this Ag still is. He does have to stay.
They're not done.
Oh, again.
They come back in. He's turned into the Shadow Realm. He's just dealing so much damage, but he's clicking on a bug at the moment. They do find the kill on Sexy Yogi, and Pamplona is going to be next to fall. The shotgun goes through. They've turned their stun. They drop the roots, and they kill 4 heroes on the side of Infinity. And well, that's the Ag's reveal. Oh my gosh, it was so strong.
And just immediately, PP couldn't survive, no one could survive, and as soon as that happens, they know they need to get out. They don't have BKBs. He already popped it to try and kill that Moon Meander at the beginning of the fight, but it just doesn't matter. It is slightly annoying. They do have to push out these waves, but Saberlight with Boost of Travel, again, now the map is swapped. Now Undying with their Power Spike, they're just going to keep running, and they have the wards. They're going to be able to get a Rax possibly here.
And you already see that Weaver is running around to at least try to contest where he can. Wild does go invis, I believe, just to catch up though, not to be attacked by the Weaver. But yeah, the wards go down. They will expend Fort. I don't think you counter Fort this. Your creeps are so far in the back that one will survive.
Yeah, no, this is just going to be, it's going to be 2 racks. They're going to try and end if they don't want buybacks.
Looks like
they're going to go for 2 instead.
Yeah, they're going to double down on the racks. They already had top pretty much ready to go for it.
It's just so fast. They do so much damage.
I mean, the leveler on the Morphling as well. Like it was a lot of damage, and it's a very scary position now because the Roche got the couriers lined up in it right now. They can actually see that there are 2 couriers in there of the opposing faction. It's 45 seconds. They don't know that. We do. And 45 seconds is when we will likely see the big game-deciding fight. Because it's going to be again outside the pit.
When you saw Tomato greeting out for this Ags, but right there, he really feels no threat. Pamplona hasn't been able to find the initial burst that we've been seeing before, but at the same time, now it's like Undying's lineup is completely online, and they keep on trying to kill Moon, but it feels like they're ready now.
NATO goes through. They find the Hex again. EMP, it's going to remove his mana, but no, BKB is just in time. Rolls his way out of that one, looking for the kill on Moon Meander. They will shackle him up, but he is going to be silenced and will be the first trade of this fight, while Yogi actually gets picked off in the backlines. I don't think Morphling turned into him. No, he is. Does have the Dark Willow Mog if he wants to turn.
Goodbye, little boy.
Little boy, yeah, he's just getting destroyed by the Shadow Realm. Oh, wait, they're not done.
They got Pamplona.
If they find him, they do throw out the snowball. It's going to be on the creep wave.
With the
blink out. Hard TP. Yules, question mark. No, don't even need it. There's about 1.5 million trees nearby. And they will get the kill, as well as this Roshan, which is the Ag Synth.
And it's just these few kills that they have buyback, but they're just going to have to give it up anyway. Maybe they're able to steal something with this courier. That would be the play on Infinity Esports, but no, nobody's microing it. Now Moon has Ags popped in the backpack. Does he give it to Saberlight? Yeah, he does.
Yeah, but the double
So now he's got
chakram
two
is going to be
chakrams.
real good in this game. Like, we've already seen how effective it is.
Is under attack.
Second chakram is the name of the spell. He's got flamethrower, double chakram.
When we even saw in that previous fight, Tomato was just looking around for Sexy Yogi, and he just synced up with Brile, killed Sexy Yogi, became the Willow, and after that point, yeah, push now indeed, because they're just going to walk up this bot lane.
It's the last tower that they need in order to confirm a Mega Rax, and I mean, it's going to, I don't want to say it would be a little more of an uncontested Rax, but as it's like you're saying, as soon as the Dark Willow
They're trying to kill Saber.
They
Oh,
do
no,
rotate
now.
everybody in there, but the Bloodstone is there, and now he's going to get caught. BKB gets thrown out by PP. There's no bash or anything like that available. He will be able to TP out, but they get now. And this kind of cements Undying to kind of do whatever they want. You
And
see
Brile
that
was just
Brile
hitting
is
the
just
tier
like,
fours.
I'm just going to end
Yeah.
the game, guys. Like, I'm Invoker. Lol. We'll throw out the fear, but he goes invis in time.
Oh.
I say that, though. Pamplona jumps in. They do have the punch, and he goes down and dies for his greed. The Yules, though, is going to be there. Tomato, he wants to turn into Yogi. He will do exactly that. And, I mean, Yogi's just dead here since Tomato's in the Shadow Realm. You got 7 seconds left on the next, basically annihilate.
Well, and it was a punish. Brile was doing a little bit of crazy stuff there, but still, it doesn't... If they kill Brile again, then that's something big, but Tomato's just going to hit your tier 4s, and you still have this Aegis to contend with. You still have a fresh BKB to contend with. They force out the buy.
They will buy back, indeed. Tomato pumps the Shadow Realm. He wants to go for now, and now he's got to be careful. He's... That sentry on top of there, they're going to be able to find it, but looks like they might find Pamplona first. The Sunstrike
PP.
next. The shotgun immediately removes him. He has to buy if they want to defend. Pamplona goes down, but they will burn the first life of this Morphling. He does have a BKB, swaps it in. He will have enough time. He has Morph available as well, but there's no Dark Willow to turn into. He might turn into this Tusk still. But you could see it. They're still poising to wanting to get the mid tower. They will buy back. And
you
Duvu
see
will
how
have
far
his borrowed
Moon
time
is.
thrown. Yeah, Moon just doesn't want to get picked off. At the same time, you do see Nature's Prophet down in the bot lane, and there's no creeps here in the mid, as NP did cut that off a little bit with the shotgun. It was on the little boy. It's not too much damage available. They do jump onto Tomato there. Not able to turn into him. They will actually reflect the snowball, and the thing is, this snowball can't be
Oh, it's not
interrupted.
the greatest. Yeah.
It is going to be brought back, but Tomato will just waveform out, and BKB, he'll start clicking this Ancient. He is still losing a lot of HP, but with waveform
can
off
do.
cooldown quite heavily, and actually they're putting in some decent damage. They will go ahead and E-Blade the Weaver, and Undying will take the series then with a 2-0.
And it really felt like a very strong back and forth. Infinity were able to push their advantages. They were able to prey on the backline and even surprise Saberlight in a lot of those kills where if they could ignore everybody but Tomato, they were able to win the fight. But again, they ignored everybody but Tomato, and Tomato's getting out consistently. He's not dying. If he dies in those situations, the game becomes so much harder. But Tomato really played so well. He played almost a perfect game, I think, on the Morphling. His items, his decision-making. There was never a point where Tomato got picked and then the game kind of turned on its head. And the one time that did happen, there were still 3 heroes alive. They weren't able to gain anything off of his death, and that was his first death in almost 20 minutes. And after that, it just felt like Undying were able to continuously forward their plan. And once Tomato was something they had to deal with, then Moon, we got to start seeing him in the fights. We started to see him get the disables off, and even towards the end, finding the pick on now in the bot lane with Saberlight. And I think Infinity just started to bite off more and more than they could chew, and Undying with the correct punishment every single time.
It just felt like their late game draft had like more sustainability as well. Like the Timber saw scales quite effectively come the later stages of the game. He has a lot of items to work with. His utility kit is pretty big, and he ended up going for a Bloodstone as well. So he had a lot of mana and HP to work with consistently, where in the early game, that was where one of his bigger issues was, is that he was just getting kind of run down. But getting that Bloodstone as the solvent, and then I think the Lotus Orb as well, just being able to have the nice reflect for a lot of these single target spells, like the Silence, the Snowball, Cursed Crown. There's a lot of things that went extremely right for the side of Undying. And Infinity Esports, it was like you're saying, it just got too much. They were only able to take care of very specific amount of stuff, and it just overwhelmed them come the later stage of the game.
Well, and you take a look at the win probability graph, even at 20 minutes, where taking a look at the graph, Moon has almost 10 deaths at that point. It's really started to heave in the favor of Infinity Esports, but then you see the little kicks, the little ticks in that one big fight at 32 minutes where they get the Aegis, they weren't able to kill Tomato, and the game just got so much more difficult. And you see the win probability back and forth over and over with how swingy that game was, but Infinity just weren't able to close it out.
Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this series. Undying will take the series a 2-0, leaving Infinity Esports to not take a game off of Undying and making Undying still the only one loss total so far in this tournament. But, ladies and gentlemen, don't go far. I've seen a lot of you talk about it in chat. Where's the Arkosh game? Well, guess what? SG Esports versus Arkosh will be up right around the corner. It'll be about 10 minutes for a little break here or so, and then that game will be live and ready to go. So don't go far, ladies and gentlemen. Our second series of the day is right around the corner.